Hey everyone. So, I went back and rewatched some particular episodes of Miraculous Ladybug Season 6 to figure out exactly how Lila's been pulling off all her schemes without ever getting caught. And let me tell you, I found some really interesting and mind blowing details that I'm about to share with you. And yeah, about Dark Castle, I was excited that my theory about Dargencourt came true. Although I was so wrong about the reason for Adrian's absence in the party, regardless, it was worth the try. Now back to what I really wanted to talk about today, Aglae. You know I used to think she was innocent, but now I'm not so sure. So in this video, we're going to break down her scenes, her actions, and every clue we've seen throughout Season 6 to figure out if she's really as innocent as she seems, or if she might actually be Lila. Ever since Aglay first appeared in Season 6, she's been raising a lot of suspicion across the Miraculous fandom. Everyone keeps saying that Aglay is actually Lila hiding in plain sight. At first, I didn't want to believe that, and I'll explain why later. But after watching Wreckless Driver and Dark Castle, I'm starting to think the fans might be onto something. Before Season 6 even started airing, the official synopsis mentioned that there would be a mysterious threat, someone very close, but they don't even realize it. Now, we're already 12 episodes in, and we still haven't seen Lila anywhere. That makes it possible she's been right under our noses this whole time. This season introduced a few new characters: Ondine, Diana, Aglay, and Sublime. Out of these four, Ondine is pretty much in the clear. That leaves us with three main suspects: Sublime, Diane, and Aglay. Let's start with Sublime. When she first appeared, fans noticed how much she resembled Lila. Same face, same height, very similar look. But here's the problem. Sublime has prosthetic legs and a well-documented background as an athlete. She's won trophies and she's got visible parents, not imaginary ones. So she's got a solid, believable history. So because of her disability and clear backstory, it's unlikely she's Lila. Diane, on the other hand, hasn't really done anything suspicious. She's had very little screen time and hasn't been involved in anything major so far. So she's probably not the one either. That brings us back to Aglay, the newest and most mysterious of them all, who's actually getting more screen time than Tiki. The first time we saw Aglay was in Climaticane. In that episode, she played a pretty interesting role. She was the one who influenced Aurore, indirectly pushing her to make bad choices that led to her downfall. Even though her actions seemed subtle, they clearly had a negative effect. And then right after that, Aglay acted all caring and concerned, like she wasn't part of the problem at all. That kind of behavior really stands out. It's almost like she's playing both sides, creating chaos behind the scenes while pretending to be innocent and compassionate in front of everyone else. The next time we see Aglay is in Wreckless Driver. This episode was supposed to explain her backstory, her trauma, her fear of butterflies, and how she was affected by Timebreaker. At first glance, it looked like the episode was meant to clear her name. But what if it was actually designed to make us stop suspecting her? Think about it. Most of her flashback scenes were shown in 2D animation, almost like drawings. What if those weren't real memories at all? What if they were fabricated, stories she told the psychiatrist to gain an extra alibi? Here's something even more interesting. Both Aglay and Lila share the same trait. They love attention. They like being at the center of concern, making people feel sorry for them. Aglay constantly plays the fragile one, drawing everyone's focus. Compare that to Sublime, who, despite losing her legs, never acted helpless. Aglay, on the other hand, thrives on being surrounded, comforted, and cared for. Then came Dark Castle, and suddenly all the suspicions came rushing back. It's like the writers keep trying to hide Aglay, but she always pops up again right in the middle of something strange. In this episode, she showed concern for Alex, asking why she wasn't there and expressing sadness that she had to miss her own birthday just to help Ladybug. But when it was finally time for Alex to cut her cake, Aglay was nowhere to be found. Her earlier concern suddenly felt fake. She didn't appear during the party, after the party, or even in the end card. For someone who cared so much, her disappearance was way too suspicious to ignore. Speaking of end cards, Aglay didn't still show up in the Wreckless Driver end card, which was quite strange since the episode was practically about Aglay's sad backstory. The fourth time I spotted Aglay is during Revelator. She was actually there in the scene right when the akumatization happened. And what's strange is that, while everyone else is staring in shock at Vincent, Aglay doesn't even flinch. She's not looking in his direction, not reacting at all, like she already knew what was about to happen. That can't just be a coincidence. Now, here's where things get confusing. Aglae is a lot shorter than Lila. Normally, Marinette and Lila are about the same height, but Aglae is noticeably shorter than Marinette. Could they really be the same person with such a big height difference? And another detail, Aglae wears purple nail polish, while Lila doesn't wear any at all. Lila's nails are always clean, so if they're truly the same person, how is Lila pulling that off? The height, the nails, it doesn't add up. The only possible explanation I can think of is shapeshifting. Maybe Lila is transforming herself into Aglay, just like she did in the Chameleon episode when she changed into Adrian, complete with his voice and everything. If that's what's happening, it makes perfect sense. She could be taking on Aglay's form to get close to Marinette and finally confirm whether she's really Ladybug. Remember, ever since the London special, Lila's been suspicious of Ladybug's secret. And a fact is that Aglae probably carries a notepad everywhere she goes. And maybe that's how she keeps track of what she learns while in disguise. Since akumatized victims usually forget what happens afterward, she could be writing down notes as Aglae, then reviewing them later once she transforms back into herself. Just like how Marinette always slips away to transform into Ladybug whenever there's an akumatization in Paris, Aglae also tends to disappear. But in her case, it's to transform into Chrysalis whenever she senses a surge of negative emotion. So as Aglae, she observes and records everything about Marinette. Then, when she's back in her lair as Lila, she checks her notes to connect the dots. It's totally possible that she's been doing this all along, shifting forms, blending in, and watching from the background. And you know what I think? I think it's totally possible for Lila, who is 10 times smarter than Gabriel Agreste, by the way, to pull this off. If she was smart enough to pull off these two incredible villains in just one day of acquiring Noru, then being an undercover spy shouldn't be a big deal for her. Yeah. And remember that episode where Chloe was akumatized and no one knew she was akumatized? Even Ladybug and Cat Noir had a hard time figuring that out. We are probably looking at the same scenario here right now. Besides, Ladybug's got tons of upgrades. Who says Lila can't have hers too? She's Lila, the villain who doesn't even need a costume. Now that she's got one, believe it or not, she's got to be the bestest villain you've ever experienced before. So what do you guys think? Is Aglay really just another victim? Or is she actually Lila in disguise? Could shapeshifting explain all the strange coincidences we've seen? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.